They recently wound up a concert tour promoting their latest CD called Adore, and I'm happy we're joined by the group's lead singer and guitarist, Billy Corgan. Billy, thanks for coming on, and welcome to Late Late Night here at CBS.
Thank you.
The fan reaction to Adore, from what I read, it's been mixed because it's a departure for Smashing Pumpkins,
right.
Huh?
Yes.
And the reviewers, you know, who try to get into motivation as to why groups make certain albums, they claim it has something to do with your personal life.
Yeah.
You know, your marriage and the fact that your mom passed away, for which,
right,
by the way, you have my sympathy. Is there any truth in that, the reviewers' interpretation of Adore?
I think, you know, the way our culture is right now, that people aren't living, they're not living in the present. They kind of tend to be 5 years behind, you know.
Or even more, possibly.
So we're getting the same reviews now that we got 5 years ago for the music that we've helped now popularize now.
Right.
So.
You don't seem to be bothered by it at all, then?
No, I kind of gone through my phase. And
very good. Now, the tour that promoted this record, you did a tour this summer, and out of that came almost $3 million for charity. Right. Who benefited from the contributions made by Smashing Pumpkins to these charities?
Right. We picked different charities in each community. So in one community would be teen prostitution, another community would be like a children's reading center, AIDS programs, battered women's programs. So in each community we picked a different charity. Yeah.
And last week you were at Dodger Stadium on Halloween night, and while I wasn't there, I read the account.
I thought I saw you.
No, very good.
With a Kiss shirt on.
Yeah, well, Kiss was there too. Huh?
It's the makeup, see. I thought it was you, you know.
No, well, one of the shows I did at NBC that was very popular, we had all four of them on, and they came in full regalia and makeup, and to this day it is one of the most popular bootleg videotapes in the underground, was the Kiss appearance on The Tomorrow Show, because they were terrific that night. But now Smashing Pumpkins came out as the Beatles on Halloween night. What was the motivation for that?
Well, we don't normally play on Halloween, because it's kind of like Smashing Pumpkins Halloween.
Right.
So we've always ran from it. But because we were playing Halloween with this special show with Kiss, we thought we'd dress up for a change. And so we picked our favorite band, the Beatles.
And how much interaction was there between you and Kiss? Not so much during performance, but you know, backstage.
Well, I don't actually. They show up for the shows in makeup, so you don't actually see them. I think that's part of what they do. They don't want anyone to see them. You know, it's like all on stage, and then
right. Oh, then they leave right away. There's no, by the way, nice to see you.
The fireworks, and then.
And
yeah. But I know them personally and hung out and talked to them. So.
And wasn't there a Gene Simmons connection between him and naming the band Smashing Pumpkins?
Right.
What was that story?
Well, you know, when you're in a band, probably the most frequently asked question is, how'd you get your name? So in the 1,000 answers that we've given, we've made up about 999 of them. So that was just one of the made-up things. I think we said that Gene Simmons appeared in a dream, or, you know, you probably got credit for naming the band at one point, you know, somewhere along the way.
Well, I'll take it, thanks.
You're welcome.
Despite all your travels, I know you play not only in this country, but overseas as well. I read that you always manage to stay in touch with the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago Bulls.
True.
How big a fan are you? Does it go back to your childhood
Crazy,
in the Chicago area?
Yeah, crazy fan. And anybody in the NBA watching, trying to get a NBA Finals game in the Soviet Union or the former Soviet Union is impossible. So they had to know that they're not as popular internationally as they claim to be.
So no satellite goes into the former Soviet Union, into Russia?
What they do is they edit the games down and just put in all the good plays. But you know, the games would be on at, say, 4 a.m. I don't understand why they can't show them live. They show them the next morning at 10 a.m., all edited down. And
if you're on the road in Europe, how accessible is American baseball over there?
Forget it.
No?
Yeah. It's impossible.
Let me ask you...
Sports in general in Europe is, you know,
well,
they're still throwing javelins.
Well, no, but mainly soccer is very popular in Europe. You know, when I'm in Europe, soccer is on almost every day. There's some kind of a soccer game or soccer highlights program on. Let me ask you here about the band through the years. You have one woman who plays in your band.
Right.
Darcy Retzky.
You're good.
I understand your meeting with her was sparky.
Right.
Filled with sparks.
And it's continued. We met on the street one day and we got in an argument. That was our first meeting. And,
what was the argument about?
It was about a band. She thought the band was great. I thought they were terrible. We started an argument about it, and then she kind of said something along the lines of, you know, what makes you think you're so smart? Well, I have a band, and that's how we met. So it's been like that. It's been like that ever since.
Well, I think any band has friction. I mean, the Beatles had friction, the Rolling Stones. If you go through the history of the great bands, there's always been friction. That's part and parcel of having musicians together, huh?
Yeah, but I'm just saying sometimes the first meeting that you have with somebody is oftentimes indicative of your relationship as a whole. I'm not saying I have friction with her. I'm just saying that our natures are kind of diametrically opposed, and that's kind of what makes the band is, you know, people have a certain balance. And
well, it provides excitement, it provides tension, and it allows you to produce the kind of music that you do.
Right.
But like when you say the friction has continued with Darcy, how so through the years?
Well, I'm right, and she hasn't realized she's wrong. something along that line.
And does it
the phone is ringing right now.
Does it ever spill over on stage between you two or any other band members?
Yes.
What's happened?
Oh, you know, people throw things and whip their instruments, and I mean, you know, we're a very intense group of people, and you know, it kind of comes out that way. But that's what being in a rock band is for. It's not supposed to be about being dignified. It's supposed to be about being crazy and dangerous.
You mentioned that the dress up as the Beatles at Dodger Stadium was done because they're your favorite band. Why are they your favorites? What was it about them that made them better in your mind than, or if not better, more popular than
Right.
the
Well,
other band?
for rock music, you know, post 50s rock music, I mean, they're probably the best songwriters. You know, they could have been, you know, they're as good as Gershwin or any of the great songwriters. And I think they also embody a certain kind of idealism, which is, of course, long escaped. You know, they managed to actually walk the line into a new consciousness, and their idealism, I think, is part of what fuels their music and the beauty of their music. And it's kind of sad and tragic to exist in this particular culture and know that you can't necessarily exist in that idealism, because that's not what our culture is about right now.
And what about pre-Beatles? Are you a fan of that music at all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
You know, Bill Haley and the Comets, and you know, Fats Domino, Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly.
Right, I more go to the innovators, so the Howlin' Wolfs and the and the Muddy Waters and the Elvises as well. I mean, the people who
Roy Orbison.
Absolutely, tremendous, you know, tremendous artists and tremendous songwriters and singers.
I mentioned that you toured. Talk to me about touring here, and the people that I've talked to who've toured, whether it be with music or with sports, the road is tough. Timetables are tough, schedules are tough, hotel accommodations are tough. Well, what is that like on the road?
It's surreal, because you really do fall in that cliche where you're not really sure where you are. And there's a certain amount of, you kind of almost feel bad because, you know, you want to give everything that you have, but the process doesn't necessarily lend itself to giving everything that you have on a nightly basis. And so it's an odd relationship, because people come to the show so excited and they want to see the best you have to offer, and you can't give a disclaimer before the show. By the way, the hotel food was bad, and
or the airplane was late.
The plane was late, and they lost their luggage. But it goes with the territory. I'm pretty used to it.
We're chatting tonight with Billy Corgan, who is the lead guitar on the Smashing Pumpkins. Their newest CD is called Adore. It's out now. The toll-free is up and running. We'll be back with Mr. Corgan and you on the toll-free right after this break.